Welcome to Planning Phase Syndicate, episode number 4 for our Star Wars Unlimited podcast. Tonight, we're going to be talking about how Iden gets to make people feel blue, Bad Batch spoilers, and all sorts of other crazy spoilers that I didn't even know were coming this week. And I don't know, maybe for a card game, this is just typical that like in a week we get like 20 spoilers. I have no idea. They do have to spoil 252 cards, but they got 2 months to do it, baby. Like, I don't know. But tonight, I thought it would be fun. We could talk a little bit about some of the new cards coming out, what we're excited for, maybe give a quick ranking kind of on and off of what ones we feel are super good. And then also talk about some of the tournaments that happened this weekend. So we're not going to cover like every tournament in detail yet. And some of me apologize for that because normally our podcast, when we do X-Wing stuff, we cover like tournament and data results, but it is so hard to find tournament and data results for Star Wars Unlimited that it's not even funny. So hopefully the community works together and we can get something going pretty quickly here, because it would be awesome if we just had a way to export everything directly into something like a pattern analyzer that we have in X-Wing. So if you're listening to this and you know people that would like to work together to help create that, that would be awesome. We have some people willing to help and we're willing to promote it. So we're also going to be talking about Store Showdowns a little bit as we went there this week, and it was pretty cool to be able to hold the Store Showdown. And so we're going to talk a little bit about Store Showdowns as well. With that being said, why don't I bring in my host for tonight? Please welcome the bench warmer himself, Mr. Alex. How are you tonight, sir?
Oh, I'm doing well. Played in your tournament yesterday. That was real fun. Driving across the state to the wrong coast of Michigan. Always a fun time.
I know, and you came and hung out with us, even though there was stuff closer to you. So that was exciting.
I did get to drop off some stuff to Zach and pick up some of the X-Wing World stuff. So it was nice to see some of you guys.
So that was kind of fun, getting to see Alex this weekend. Also joining me is the guy who still hasn't been able to buy a booster box yet. JJ, how are you tonight, sir?
Dude, you are not wrong about that. So, funny enough, at the Richmond Open, they had a sealed event going on at Richmond Open, which they could only get 8 players to go in because they only had enough for 8 players to play a sealed event. They had literally saved the box just for that event, and it sold out within like 30 seconds of that. The thing being posted online for Richmond events. There was a separate event going on in Richmond, but that was a constructed, and it was 1K tournament prizes. But yeah, it was kind of funny to me that, like, you know, they had specifically just enough boosters just for that one event, and everybody kept on going to the booth asking, hey, you know, are you guys having this event? Do you have any for sale? And they're like, no, it's only for the people who are playing for the tournament. And that sucked. So
JJ, just take my unopened booster box that I still have.
Wait, you have an unopened one?
Yeah.
Why?
What?
I play sealed with my buddies. We'll just get all 4 of us together and do like a round robin sealed tournament. So
that'd be awesome.
Do that, and then whoever bought the box is the one that gets the cards. Yeah, just take that, just with one caveat of, you know, if you get a showcase, give it to me. That's all.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Because I'm convinced there's a showcase in there, right? There always is.
Okay, well, if you're playing the thing where we open the box and they have to give you all the cards anyway, like, they wouldn't get a choice. They would have to give you the card anyway.
Yeah, like, I'm just saying, JJ, just buy this off of me for the incredibly market price of like $400 that they're going for no reason.
Yeah, I will say
I'll eventually open it. It's whatever.
I feel like we should go break into Alex's house, like a bunch of stuff there that we can steal right now. Like,
but that means you got to go to the wrong side of the state to go.
Good coast.
I'm okay with that if it means I get another booster box. Like, bring it on, baby. So this weekend was pretty fun. We had there was a whole bunch of stuff going on in Michigan, ironically enough, and around the country, and it is May 4th. So, you know, I'm a little sad FFG didn't like come out and say, here's a specific May 4th kit, but that's probably just asking too much. So there was a whole bunch of like 2Ks, 1Ks, 4Ks going around the country, and we were going to hold, before we even knew we were getting the Store Showdown kit, we were going to hold a tournament in our little old Grand Rapids area on the 4th, and it was just going to be a $20 buy-in. We give everybody a couple of packs. We saved like 2 boxes specifically for this, and a third possible box in case we actually had everybody there. So you basically bought in, you came, you got to those, and then we got our Store Showdown kit like the day before. So our store went online to see if they could order a second one. We have a second one coming. So
Nice.
we decided to make the Store Showdown. This weekend, we decided to make it a Store Showdown. You know, we had, 17, 18 people come play?
Yeah, it was 18, I believe.
Yep. And this was the card that we gave that comes in the box so that everybody can get it. It's just funny because it's a non-foil. The judge card, by the way, is a foil judge card, which I don't understand this, but because in the original pre-release kits, when you ran that, the judge cards were foil, and so were the cards that you got in the pack. So I'm a little confused why they made them different this time, but they did. And then I will tell you that the maces do look pretty totes. Like,
oh yeah, oh man,
they're
good.
real sick.
And I kind of felt bad because I ended up I wasn't going to play. I was just going to judge. And then we needed an extra player. So then I was like, well, if you want, I guess I'll play. You know, you guys decide. You all have to vote on it. And so they voted me to play. And then I ended up getting in the 7th place and getting a stupid card for it. So I was like, all right, well,
mission accomplished.
Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to do that. So that was kind of fun. And then today I went out to Lansing, and they had a tournament where they're giving away a lightsaber, like an actual lightsaber. And it was at Hoplite Games. And so we get there, and essentially, I guess they've only been around for like 6 to 7 months or something like that in that location, and they've outgrown their space. So they decided to expand. So they're literally currently in the process of 2 doors down expanding. So we held a tournament in a it was drywall, but unpainted room. Which was fine, right? And you had to open the doors. So it was super hilarious because we opened the doors, right? And they there's a homeless guy that walked in, and he looked at my one buddy Gabe, and he goes, "Hey, I know you." And Gabe was like, "No, you don't. I don't know who you are. We don't even live here." And I felt bad.
That's great.
If the guy had asked me, I'd been like, "You just need $5. Is that what you want? Here's $5. Go buy yourself, the food or something.
Go buy yourself a pack."
Yeah, what I
buy yourself a pack.
And it was kind of fun because it was a surprise. At the time we were not told about any prizes, just the weekly play. You would get money for the top cut, and then they were giving away a K2SO mat and which is a limited edition one that you could only get at the last con they were at. And then they were giving away a lightsaber, and I don't know anything about lightsabers personally, but they were giving away some fancy lightsaber. And it was funny because we played, and then Gabe and I both made top 4. So we were both at the top cut. We weren't even from around the area. I kind of felt bad. I was like, yeah, we're here again. We didn't mean to monopolize all your guys' locals, but I mean, you had a lightsaber on the line, and that would look really cool, right there. It'd be super cool to have a lightsaber in my background. And it's red too. It was red. That was the other reason I wanted.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, I really wanted to go, but unfortunately, my family is Eastern Orthodox, Christianity, and today is their Easter.
In
addition to Cinco de Mayo, yeah. So
I thought they were just going to ban you from playing SWU altogether because I wasn't going to say, wow, damn.
Yeah, but my family's Romanian, so that's where
nice.
That's their central religion right over there, the Ukraine and Russia and all that have the same, in Greece. So I had to have lamb chops and stuff with them for lunch.
Okay, that doesn't sound bad though.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't actually get the lamb chops because that's $50, but they did. I can't afford that.
Oh, they weren't paying. You had to pay for your own meal?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's a little bit different. I don't know. That seems a little bit worse to me then.
Yeah,
That's the cost of a foil, bro. Jeez.
Yeah, I could have bought one Vader with that amount of money.
Yeah, right.
So anyway, I think we're excited if you don't know who we are Planning Phase Syndicate. We run a X-Wing podcast as well, and we have decided to jump into SWU which I hate that name, by the way. We decided to jump into Unlimited because all three of us have been playing it. And we thought it would be fun to kind of do a podcast about SWU as well. And it's been fun. I really like this game, and yeah, it brings back old Destiny days. So we decided we're going to cover spoilers first, and then we'll cover some other things a little bit later. But we wanted to cover spoilers, and if we have time, maybe we'll even talk about a little bit of what Alex and I ran, because it was hilarious. Because Alex showed up with the same deck I showed up with, except for I had a few different things in it. But it's just funny because like my locals, I felt bad for it because my locals had played against that deck for at least the last 2 weeks. Because I've been playing that deck solely in the last 2 weeks. So it was kind of funny. Like Alex, it's like back. Remember when we aired your stuff for Worlds on stream, and then you played against somebody that was like, "Oh, I know that list." It's like, "Oh, great." So, but anyway, why don't we bring our Galactic Gazette segment to light? For our Galactic Gazette segment, we cover all spoilers that people have released. So we thought we'd cover some of these new cards today. And what I'm going to do is there's going to be 3 per row, right? And what we're going to do is we'll kind of start off. We'll let Alex go first, and Alex can make a decision which card he wants to cover, which one he finds the most exciting. And then all 3 of us will cover 1 out of the 3 cards on each of the different screens. So, Alex, you get first up. What card do you want to cover that was spoiled last week by FFG?
So I'm going to start off with L337, and that's just because. So I didn't realize that was voiced by the lady in Fleabag. And I played a lot of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands lately, and Wanda Sykes is in there, and she voices a robot. So I just assumed it was the same person, and that's why I'm choosing L3L. Yes, L337 is a 2 cost, yellow white, 2 attack, 2 health. When played, you may rescue a captured card. If you don't, give a shield token to this unit. And smuggle for 4 yellow and white. If this card is a resource, you smuggle it out, replace it with the top card of your deck. So it's 4 costs for that, with 2 mandatory aspects. So you're probably not going to smuggle it in another deck. They're uncommon, and it's really cool. It's just like a straight up upgrade over Crafty Smuggler for hero decks, because at the very worst you get a 2/2 with a shield for 2, which is what Crafty Smuggler is.
Yeah,
and at best you rescue something pretty critical. It seems good both early game and late game. And if someone gets captured and they're like, "Wow, I super needed this," you can smuggle her out. It's really good. And obviously being the heroic aspect, you get synergy with For a Cause I Believe in and all that kind of stuff. So L3 seems really nice.
Yeah, especially because now we got a hero version that's specific to heroes, so it triggers with For a Cause I Believe in. It triggers with Leia stuff. So it triggers with so many things. Like now, compared to
not trigger with Leia, it is not a rebel keyword.
It's not a rebel? Oh, okay. It's an underworld droid. Sorry. Yes. You're right. It doesn't. So it triggers with For a Cause.
But the underworld is nice too, for another card we're going to go over.
Yes, exactly. Now, and they explained a little bit what the smuggle does, and I guess smuggle is a mechanic that they all love internally. So when they did their stream, that was something that kind of came up. They talked about, why it was popular, and they actually explained a little bit that the way for smuggle, the idea is it makes it easier for new players to determine what to resource. So it actually makes your resourcing churn a little bit easier, which I kind of like that design, and we don't have to spend a million hours on it, but I really do kind of like that design space because it allows for people to be a little bit more of not having to have all that experience. So, for example, my nephew, when he pulls up his Sabine deck, he goes, "I don't know what's a resource because everything's like 1, 2, and 3 cost, Chris. Like everything I want to keep." And it's like, well, you can't keep everything, buddy. That's not how this works. So I like that aspect quite a bit with it.
Yeah. Yeah,
All right.
definitely agree. It's a great card. Great addition to what they're coming up with. Yeah, absolutely.
JJ, what card out of this one do you want to cover?
I have to go over a card that I swear in all my years of Star Wars fandom never thought that that's how you spell it, but I'm going to cover McClunky. It's a tactic card. It is a one cost card, and it reads: return a friendly non-leader underworld unit to its owner's hand. If you do, deal 3 damage to a unit. Really, really spicy card there for yellow aspect there, being able to not only remove an underworld unit off the board to go back into the hand, but also deal 3 damage to a unit on there. It's definitely situational because you're not always going to have decks that are full of underworld cards. But if you do manage to pull it off, I mean that can be a very, very strong card to have there, especially if you have units that have Sentinel on the board that can die faster with this particular card being played. I like this one a lot. It's really nice.
Well, I mean, it works really well with L337, right? Because you get to
Yep.
use her when played twice. So imagine having 3 resources, turn 2.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to play this, and there goes your whatever unit you have that has 3 health left. Boom, see ya.
Yep.
Yeah, there goes your Echo-based defender, and L337 comes in with another shield, right? Like it's
so good. It's so good. I like it a lot.
bonkers. Yeah, I like it a lot.
Now, part of me wonders if AMG or if FFG actually looked up if this is the correct spelling of the card, because I actually been doing my binge, for May the 4th for everything, and even in the subtitles for episode 4, it is spelled completely different. So
I think they changed it. They didn't tell us why it was different spelling, but they made on the stream they made people try to type the spelling in for it, and they were not. they literally spent like 2 minutes making people type shit in before they would reveal it.
That's great.
So also, just like some other notable cards that are like underworld cards that like would definitely benefit if you pop them back to your hand, like the cartel spacers. They're underworld, so you can exhaust someone again. Bid Fortuna, if he loses his shield or something, you can use them, right? And play Wakalunki for free, deal 3 damage to someone, and then play him again. Bosk is an underworld character. Jabba's underworld. Boba's underworld. The Falcon is underworld. Greedo, of course, because it's a very thematic Greedo card. Just a lot of things with ambush on solo units, underworld, syndicate lackeys, Chewie unit. They're all underworld that benefit from this card, and that's really cool.
So I have a question. So this is a common card, by the way. We forgot to tell the ratings. This is a common card, so everybody's gonna have this card. Like you play this will be something that is in draft. Does this make Han stocks go up higher? Like just this specific card? Does this just like really like make Han good?
Yeah, I think so.
You don't really need a lot of like, I don't know. Do you need to return a bunch of cards when you're playing with Han? I mean, it's nice because his hand does deplete itself, so maybe that would be good. Yeah. L3 in a Han deck, I think would be really silly.
Yeah, I like it. Very thematic, right? We're getting a little bit of theme mixture in here. And I only say this because there's somebody getting killed on there that we know who that is. They don't have to tell us. We know who that is.
Yeah, I just love that. It's just like, you know what? Greedo is not going to shoot first, so I'm just going to pick him back up and then do the 3 damage anyways. We'll figure it out later.
Now, the one thing that they didn't say is the return mechanic. When you return it, it's not defeating it. So this will not trigger when defeated. It's returning it to your hand. So just as an FYI, like I know that'll be a common question. I think that comes up. But just as an FYI, that is. So let's move on to the next one. The next one is also a common pirate battle tank. Personally, I'm not super excited about this. I am excited, I guess, that I do get the smuggle capability for it, right? And it only costs me 1 more resource to play it as a smuggled unit. So I will say, like, I'm not super excited to get a 4/6 Sentinel like ground tank, but it is underworld themed, so there is that. I mean, it does get to play into this underworld ideology that or imagery that we're getting from FFG. And I think I don't know, I rate this card decently low, but I do think that it is a good card as a smuggle because it does allow you to play that card as a resource. And then if you really need it later on in the game, you can pull it back out. I don't know. Anybody else have any thoughts before we move on? I think it's just a generic-ish
Oh,
card.
I like it actually. I think it's just because you have a big body. It's a 6 health with Sentinel and 4 attack, which is pretty sizable. I mean, it's not good if they have like a Han unit, right, or whatever, but it's like Obi-Wan, or not. Obi-Wan, right? Who's a 4/6 Sentinel like this. It's a different effect. You don't get the experience, but you get to smuggle it. I think that's pretty solid for 6, honestly, especially in green because you ramp a lot.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's fair.
Let's move on to our next set of cards. Alex, which card do you want to cover next?
Oh, speaking of Obi-Wan, right? The Take Captive card is a green event, and it's a tactic. Unfortunately, it's not a trick or anything you can give with Jabba, but a friendly unit captures an enemy non-leader unit in the same area. So you just straight up take someone and put them under one of your units. And there's no power restriction or cost restriction like you'll get with another card. And it seems like it'd be very good in space. Because space doesn't have, normally people don't put a ton of things in space. But if you have something behind a Sentinel and you just capture something really silly, because in my mind, I have Home One out and an A-Wing, and they drop the Redemption, and I could just take the Redemption and put it underneath the A-Wing, and just be like, well, that was fun. I think that'd be kind of
nice.
Cool. I think it's pretty solid.
Yeah, and the other thing they talked a little bit about with capturing is that that's going to be very specific to the set, right? So this is a big thing in this set that you're going to be able to get. It's going to be running throughout the green and yellow communities, right? And the big thing here that we're getting is the way capturing and rescue works. So when you capture, they lose all their upgrades. So if you have, let's say, a Yoda with a lightsaber on them and a shield, you capture it, the lightsaber and the shield are gone. And then that unit is underneath there. Until you kill that unit, it stays there. And you don't get to use them. Now, I guess if you don't care about your Yoda leaving, great. So everybody that hated Traitorous, we're getting a million Traitorouses to some extent, mechanics. It's not the same, but it's close. This is a similar mechanic. And they actually talked about how it was they wanted to make a whole deck, you could have a whole deck built of just capturing units. But I guess it was too powerful for the game or something like that. They had to go back
I'm
to
sure if you just literally stonewall everything they play.
Yeah. It was such a bad play experience. They went back and said, no, because me, that would be the deck I'd play. This the anti-burn deck. I'm just going to take all your units until you can do nothing.
Yeah, I think this is pretty solid. It's like a little bit different waylay.
Yeah. Yeah. I like them. I like this card. I think my stocks on this card are very high. I think this is really, really amazing card. And it's a common too. We have a lot of common stuff here today. JJ, what card do you want to cover?
So I'll go ahead and take a Reputable Hunter. So it's a 3-cost green card with 3 attack, 4 health, and it reads, if an enemy unit has a bounty, this unit costs 1 less resource to play. Objectively, it could be potentially good, right? Because if you do happen to get that on there and you happen to have 2 versions of this card, you can have 2, 3, 4 cards for 4 resources. So it's a decent amount of health and attack that you can deploy for cheap. For that, assuming that you just meet the conditions for it. However, you're playing the deck that doesn't have a single bounty in it, that's where the stock starts to fall for this one here. For a common card, I think you have better options out there. That'll be a little more reliable. But when it does trigger, it's definitely nice.
I think the question becomes is how many cards are come in at 2 costs that have bounty on them. Because if you have 2 cost cards that have bounty on them that are going to be highly played, this guy comes in with a 3/4 for 2 costs. Seems pretty good to me. Like that just seems really good. And like you're giving me a 3/4 unit like 2 to 3 times before, I don't know. Like I like this unit quite a bit actually. I think this is, I don't know. Again, we'll have to see how many bounties come up, but like I don't know. This feels pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, like last week we were just talking about Dr. Eva Sand, right? And the cartel turncoat. They just inherently have bounties on them. The yellow 0 cost card, Wanted, gives people bounties. And just that, I'm sure we'll get more cards with bounties, right? Or maybe even ways to, more ways to add bounties onto people or something. Or possibly if they do a particular thing, they now have a bounty on them. So that's kind of cool. And just dropping a 3/4 body for 2 is pretty disgusting. So
the last one that you guys decided to stick me with, I don't even know how to pronounce that. Covetous, is that what that is?
Yeah,
Covetous Rivals.
Covetous.
Okay, so I got it right. It is also a bounty hunter, which is another theme of the set, which is, I don't know. We should call Charles and make Charles play this game. Charles should sell all his flesh and blood and start playing Swoo with us. This is a 6 cost red common 5/5 bounty hunter that gets grit on it. And when played on attack, you may deal 2 damage to a unit with a bounty. So I don't know. This seems pretty good too. Like, and it's an ECL target for Christ's sake, so like this thing comes in, you could play it and deal 2 damage to a unit that has a bounty to kill it. Oh, or every time it attacks, it's doing the same thing. You can ping a damage on it with Grand Inquisitor and re-ready it, and now it's a 6 it's a 6 cost 6/5. I don't know. I think this is a pretty, I don't know, it feels like our power level is going up. This is a higher power level card as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's okay. I mean, it's really good if your opponent has bounties. But being at 6 instead of like 2 to 3, like the Reputable Hunter, per se, I'm a little bit more hesitant about it. I mean, 5/5 with grit's nice, but a lot of things around 6 resources can probably just outright kill it with 5 damage.
True. All right, let's move on to the next one. We have introduction of a couple of different keywords again. Alex, which one do you want to pick?
You know what? Let's do the clan challengers.
Okay.
So it's a 3/6 for 5. Just a red card, Mandalorian and Trooper keywords, which is pretty nice to have. A lot of things interact with Mandalorians and Troopers, and it's a common. And it has a raid 3 and overwhelm.
Fantastic.
So 3/6 with raid 3, so it's swinging in for 6, which is nasty. And mind you, we'll just straight one shot the covetous rivals, but also overwhelm. And being 3 attack, that triggers Grand Inquisitor's ability, right? So you can like play it and then Grand Inquisitor it and just swing into something for 6 and overwhelm, or ECL it, right? And swinging for 6 with overwhelm. Like,
Yep.
Do you take the see? So it's going to be an interesting choice if people take like Steadfast Battalion or Clan Challengers with ECL now, right? If your leader comes out on 4 or 5, I still think Steadfast Battalion's the way to go. But Clan Challengers, if you don't have a unit that's out when you can drop them with ECL, this might be the better option.
Or think of it this way: if you have a Mando deck and you have a card that lets you dig for Mandalorian cards, I mean, just saying.
Yeah.
Like, oh look, I can play that card and dig this little guy out. I don't know. I like it. I like this card too, but I love the artwork on this card as well. I don't know if it's just because I love Mandalorians, but they look so angry.
And I guess it works with General Tage too, right? Because you can give experience tokens to troopers.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so I mean, if there's other things that interact with troopers, it starts getting kind of silly.
Yep. Who else can give deal with troopers? There's another card.
Precision fire.
Mm-hmm.
That one cost red event, so it fits with
Oh,
everything. It's a
man,
trooper, so it gets
yeah.
Saboteur and +2.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
So now it's swinging in for 8 with Saboteur.
Yep.
And Overwhelm.
Yep. And it doesn't give two poops about doesn't give two poops about if you got a sentinel out. So Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
That card that card sucked. I went and pulled 3 more of those out of my giveaways because I was like, all right, I bet you my nephew and I are going to be using these stupid cards even more now.
I drafted a hyperfoil version of it, so I'll take it.
All right, JJ, which one do you want?
I'll leave you Ketsu, so I'll go with the 1-cost Clone Deserter double aspect here. It has 2 attack, 3 health. It is a clone, first keyword that we see here. So it reads restore. It comes with restore 1, and it also has bouncy keywords on it there. Pretty good actually for a 1-cost having 3 health and 2 attack on there with a restore. This is definitely really good for hero aspect on there to go in and help you restore for really, really cheap. Especially if you're able to get this out early in the game, just being able to pretty much offset damages that are coming off to you early in the game can be really, really good. I like it.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty okay draft card. I don't know how much I like it. I mean, I guess if it is a 1-cost for 2 to 3. It's a 2/3 1-cost drop, so that's actually still pretty good. The only difference is it does trigger other cards like this here, and you are like when they do kill it, they're drawing a card. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, like drawing a card is really good if you have lots of resources, but when you don't have like resources to spend, it's not as good. But I think like definitely in draft, this is like you get one of these in draft, you keep this if you're going to run hero because like. I don't know. I'd almost be tempted. No, I guess I probably wouldn't run it. But in draft, I love this card.
Oh, I think this is just really good in general. It's a 2/3 for 1. Like you can drop 2 of these on the first turn. Like they restore 1, so that's nice. It's just a nice benefit, but it'd be really good in a clone deck, and you'll see some other cards later on that reference things about having clones and multiple copies of things. So just having like a couple of clone deserters out there just at the start is that I like this a lot, honestly. And again, like your opponent drawing 1 card is not great, but it's a lot less crazy in this game than it is in other card games.
So far. All right, the last one we have is Ketsu. She's an old friend. She's Mandalorian, Underworld, and Bounty Hunter. So she has 3 keywords on her, and she's also a hero. She is an uncommon. She has Saboteur, and then when this unit deals combat damage to a base, you may defeat an upgrade that costs 2 or less. So now I don't know how many upgrades we have that cost 2 or less, but I will say, like, personally, I think this is a pretty good card. I think it's really fun. It'll be really fun to put her and Sabine together. She's a 3/2, so she's easier to kill than Sabine is, but she hits a lot harder, and she doesn't care if you got sent. I don't know. I won't say she's the most amazing card, but for 2 costs, I think like she kind of ups that game for 2 costs. Pretty much, like this is kind of a little bit of a reversal of Sabine. But if you think about it, she does the same amount of damage Sabine does, except for now she could also defeat upgrades. So she's even going to be good in late game as well. I don't know. I like it. It's like the Seven Sister effect. That's what I like about this so much.
So, quick question, because I can't remember off the top of my head. Cards like Traitorous, is that considered an upgrade?
Traitorous is an upgrade, but it does cost 5.
Okay. I mean, that's a pretty good way to kind of deal with that.
It has to be 2 or less, JJ.
Oh, that's right, 2 or less. Stuff. Yeah.
So it's like a Luke's lightsaber or a Vader's lightsaber.
Or a shield and an experience, because they're 0 cost upgrades. That's what's really nice. You can just start defeating shields off other units and experience off other units.
That's true.
I guess I didn't
Yes,
think
or
about
like
that.
Electro
Some of the
Staff is 2 cost.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah.
Entrenched is 2 cost.
And all right, stocks went up on this one.
Yes. No, like just the ability to take off things like shields and experience is I think pretty crazy. I love Katsu. And like also it doesn't specify where it's from. So if they have like a experience or a shield or something in space, like you just hit it off somehow. So that's really cool. I like Katsu just as a 3/2 body, even if they're not like going against a lot of upgrade heavy decks. You can also remove Wanted, like the bounty that your opponent puts on you. You can also do that because that's a 0 cost, and that's kind of fun.
Is that also an upgrade too?
Yeah.
Oh my god. So she's going to kind of be like anti bounty tech to some extent for some of those things. All right, the next ones we got is some Bad Batch. I know not everybody watches Bad Batch. If you watch the finale, we won't spoil it for you tonight. I kind of want to, but I won't spoil the finale. But I will say that show got so much better in season 3. Like it just hands down. Like season 3, it was like watching the end of Clone Wars all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we got three specific ones that come from the Clone Wars. Who wants to cover? Alex, which one do you want to cover?
So I have a feeling that JJ wants a particular one and you want a particular one, so I will go with Omega.
Nice.
Because I feel like, I don't know, that's probably the least impactful. So Omega is a 2 cost yellow-white 2/2 with the Fringe and Clone keywords. It is a rare card. It says ignore the aspect penalty for the first clone unit you play each round. So that's going to be interesting if you have like a multicolored spectral clone deck. And then when played, search the top 5 cards of your deck for a clone card, reveal it, and draw it. So you can, that 1 cost clone deserter, you can play Omega and then search it and then play it for 1, ignoring the aspect penalties, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it seems nice to just kind of dig for clones.
Whatever. And thank God it doesn't have a smuggle effect cost on it, right? Because you imagine that, like, oh.
So I mean, it is only a 2/2 for 2 with like no shields or anything, but it does facilitate things. Like it seems more of like a mid late game card where you can play it and then just start dropping more clones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We'll see what the clone support is, because that will really impact what kind of value Omega has.
I don't want to give out any spoilers, but I'm kind of sad that we're only seeing one version of Omega.
Stop. You're done. You're done. I'm going to mute you. I will mute you.
I know. I won't say anything beyond that, but I am excited to see Bad Batch come out and see cards for them come out. I hope we get to see more characters that were involved in Bad Batch come out as well, especially since now we have the clone keyword. I'm excited to see, hopefully, cards for like for other people from Clone Wars, like maybe like Commander Cody or Captain Rex or Commander Gree, even like Scorch or anything like that. Like it'll be really great to see some of those units, some of those characters come into the game with their own cards to make it like a whole clone deck to make it very thematic. I think that would be really cool.
And I won't lie and say like FFG towards the end of Destiny, that was like a thing for them. Just so you know, like that was a thing that they liked to do, was give us these themed decks. Like we had Raylo, which was, we had Kylo and Rey, which by the way, we haven't even we have their artwork, but we haven't seen if they're going to be spoiled yet. So like, I don't know, like this set just might be just totes amazing if we're getting like Kylo and Rey in the same set. Like, I don't know, man. Like now I'm looking at 3 cases. Somebody help me finance 3 cases. Come on.
Just run your own events, man, and have them give you all the showcases.
Yeah, that's definitely not going to happen. All right, JJ, which one do you want?
I'm going to take Wrecker because I like this one a lot here. So it's a 6 cost red and hero aspects with Overwhelmed. And it says when played, you may defeat a friendly resource. If you do, deal 5 damage to a ground unit, which is amazing, especially if you do like ECL with him. Just come in and like completely wreck the board with the Wrecker. Like you immediately deal 5 damage and you're dealing 7 damage to another enemy unit that's in there, and with Overwhelm that goes right straight over to a base. Like that would be absolutely fantastic to get that combo off there. I absolutely like this card a lot. It's going to be great for 6 costs.
Yeah, this is like they added heroic sacrifice to a card. That's like what they did. They're like, here, let me give you heroic sacrifice and give you a 7/6 drop. I don't know, like this feels dirty. This feels a little bit dirty here.
It is dirty, man. It really is.
Oh, remember that 1 cost clone trooper that nobody decided to defeat? There you go. Well, I basically paid 8 costs for this, and I swung with that stupid thing too. I don't know. I like so in Sabine decks, like you can run the in a Sabine deck, you can run the that what's that pod that readies itself or whatever?
The Gorilla Attack Pod.
Yeah. This is like I don't need the Gorilla Attack Pod. I just have Wrecker. I'm just gonna ECL Wrecker in and do crazy stupid shit with this. Like I don't know. I think this card this card is a rare. By the way, Omega was a rare too. Just so you know. I think this card is off the charts, personally. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he seems really good. Just kind of that's a really solid body and Overwhelm. It's going to be a little tricky to start like handicapping yourself on resources like that. But if like 6 is kind of like the maximum you're trying to go for anyways, then it should work. It is also worth noting that if they have like something with like 6 health and you ECL it, you can kill your resource, do 5 damage to that thing that is 6 health, and then swing in with 7 and then do 6 to their base.
Yeah. I do like it does say ground unit though specifically. So I am happy that this is not just a do 5 damage to any FN unit you want. So the last card is Tech, and I don't know how I got this card, but I love this card. Basically Tech says each friendly resource gains smuggle. The gain smuggle cost is that card's cost plus 2 resources and its aspect icon. So what I'm assuming basically what it means is if the card cost 3, it now costs 5, correct?
Yeah.
So let's say you have an Omega in there. If you have a Wrecker in there, it's an 8 cost, right?
Yes.
Yep. It is not based on the aspect, so you can run this in any hero deck, basically. Like any hero deck could take him. He's a 2/5 for 3 cost. I bet you we're gonna get some sort of a blaster, maybe that will be very beneficial to him as well. And I think, like, again, what this does is this puts a unit on the board that just says, "Hey, you must kill me, otherwise I could take whatever I want out of my resource pile." So I love this card. I how about this? I don't know how good this is going to be. I love the mechanics 100% of this card. Like this, if I run a hero deck, this card will be in that deck. Unless it really sucks. But I don't think this is going to suck. I really think this is a good card. Because it just opens your playing field up so people don't, I mean, I could now resource for a cause I believe in if I really wanted to and not play it, and then be able to bring it out when I have 5 resources and just play it then. So I know Alex is not as high on this card as me, but
no, I mean, like it's fine. Like a 2/5 body for 3 is okay. You kind of wish it had a little bit more attack, but it's got the higher health, which is nice. It is, man, it's nice that he has smuggle himself, because I think that'd be a lot more playable.
Yeah.
It's just, you're replacing your top card of your deck with what you smuggle from your resources. And if you don't have very good resources, you might just replace a better card.
But he allows you to play that card. So
Yep.
if you resource the card you really wanted, you just play it again.
I have almost never resourced something where I'm just like, man, I wish I didn't resource this.
I do all the time.
I just, I make decisions and I'm just like, that's fine. I have 2 other of these in my deck and just do the math from there. But that's just me.
All right. Well, let's move on. Let's keep moving. We got more stuff from Bad Match. Alex, you want to cover the new leader we got, which is a rare, by the way, or do you want to cover Echo?
No, I'll do Hunter.
Okay.
So we got a green-white leader. And he comes out on 7. He's a 5/8. He's a fringe clone keyword, and he has Overwhelm. And his normal action is 1 resource, exhaust him, reveal a resource you control. If it shares a name with a friendly unique unit, return the resource to its owner's hand and put the top card of your deck to play as a resource. And then his unit side is on attack, same ability. And again, he's a 7 for he's a 5/8 for 7, which is pretty beefy, pretty bulky. I'll give him that. It's the same stats as Vader, so he can hit pretty hard. I'm just not we'd really have to see what kind of what the card pool is for his ability.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm personally not super high on him. Like, that just me. Like, I don't know. I think it's because, you got to figure he rivals Chewie at that slot in Hero. I don't know. I think it's okay. How about that? I think if we get something that makes it really amazing, great. I know the theme piece. I feel like he should. I mean, we have Boba, for Christ's sake, at 5.
I mean, there's some solid green hero cards that are unique, right? Like Mon Mothma, Akbar, even Home 1, I guess, if you resourced it real early.
Mm-hmm.
But no, you probably don't want another Home 1. But like Akbar and Mon Mothma, maybe like a Yularen.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's okay. I think it's going to really depend on your other aspects there. Like maybe yellow, it might be good, right? Because you have Leia, and that's really good to reoccur Leia, just to keep exhausting things. Or if Ezra takes a lot of damage, or your Chewbacca takes a lot of damage, you can kind of replace them. I don't know. We'll see. I'm just, it's clone, so they have some synergy there. It's just it really, really depends on the card pool.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, it is going to come down to how best you can take advantage of it, and I think in that aspect, since you have to really work to make sure that synergy comes off, he's going to be more of a harder leader to really master versus some of the other leaders that we currently have on there. But the ceiling is high for it, especially if we end up seeing some really good clone weapons or clone armor that can come out in this particular pack that we might not have seen yet, that can help synergize with Hunter when he comes out. That could be really, really good, especially with Overwhelm. You want to try to boost him up high so that he has high attack, and that can help go in and deal some pretty good damage there. So, yeah.
All right, we have Echo. JJ, what is Echo?
Echo, he is a 4-cost green and white aspect with 4 attack, 4 health. He comes with Restore 2, which is really great for 4 cost. And his ability reads, when played, you may discard a card from your hand, give 2 experience tokens to a unit in play with the same name as the discarded card. So really, really helpful, especially if you have multiple copies of the same card, even unique cards, which would be really great. Helps you get those 2 experience tokens on there. Do you know off the top of your head if we're going to have a regular non-leader hunter card?
Not to my knowledge.
We don't
I would say that would be really
no,
good.
I mean, like, I don't know. I'm not going to say no.
We don't
just
know.
we don't know.
Yeah, we just
there
don't
hasn't
know.
been any revealed.
I was gonna say if we do get it, it would be kind of nice to see if there's some synergy with that version with Hunter, the leader unit. If not, having a couple of copies of some of the other clones up there. Like imagine having a second wrecker in your hand, and then giving him 2 experience, and then EC yelling him. Like, my goodness, that would be really great.
I'm worried about if you just have like double echo in your hand, right? You'll play
Man.
1 echo at 4, and now dump the other one. Now it's a 6/6 with restore 2.
Yeah,
and
that's
that can
good.
get kind of bonkers. So I'm actually kind of excited for a clone deck.
Yeah, I think this guy here, like, and again, I'm not super sold on Hunter personally yet, but like, I think this in here puts us at, like, hey, we've got another cool little piece that has synergy. Omega helps you dig for other ones. So think about Omega being able to dig. You go back to her, you can dig for other clone cards, right? So like, if you're playing Omega mid game, you could bring out another Echo, and then also now Echo's what like what you said, the 6/6. So I don't know. I like this card even for a 4 cost. I think it's like a K2SO that you want to keep on the board a little bit longer. That's what that is. I will say it's going to be, to me, unless there's a lot of digging, it's going to be very hard to like, how many times are you going to find more than 2 Echoes? I guess, I don't know. I mean, maybe you will.
I mean, if only you had like clone cards that dig for other clone cards,
Yeah, right.
If only there was an Omega card that lets you do that.
Yeah.
But I was going to say I can go on to the next card because I know exactly which one I want to talk about.
Yeah.
All right, go on.
I am super excited for Gentle Giant. He's
Yes.
a 6 cost, 2/8 common, blue-white Wookiee. I'm sure there's going to be more Wookiee cards. It's got grit, and on attack, you may heal damage from another unit equal to the damage on this unit. So I'm down for all Wookiees having grit. That's awesome. Out of the 2 we've seen between Chewbacca and this guy, that might be just their theme, which would be very on point. But man, just if you have Gentle Giant next to a Sentinel, what is your opponent supposed to do? Because you swing into something and then just heal the Sentinel, right? And they keep swinging for harder damage and just healing the Sentinel, and they still have to attack the Sentinel, right? That's what I'm seeing out of this card. And it's blue, so you actually have a lot of Sentinels. And that seems really fun. And also, like, it's not area bound, so you can just start healing your ships for some reason. I think that's funny.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy?
God.
Why
I didn't even think of that.
Like, now we're just going to be able to think about that, like, working with redemption a little bit too, right?
Like, if you manage to like put like maybe 3 damage or whatever on Gentle Giant, you drop a redemption and you heal 8, and you just start swinging in with him and just heal 5 from the redemption. Ooh.
Yeah, I love this card too. I think we'll see how many more wiki things we get, but I think stocks are up in this card, like, personally. And I think we need things with more beef, right? Like, and that's what this is.
8 health is such a pain to get through, and when it has grit, and it's healing other things, that's disgusting. And it's common, like, that's just a monster.
We need Grogu to we need Grogu to exhaust the stupid thing. I mean, think about it. You have to play 2 open fires to kill this,
Yeah.
or a force choke and an open fire. Like you can't. Like it just. I don't know. Just
and
insane.
it sucks too, right? If you play either of those, now it just has 4 or 5 more attack.
Yeah.
Oh, what's even better is you start comboing that with like redemption, right? If he starts getting too low on health, and you just heal everything,
Yeah.
and then start healing redemption, and oh my god, yeah, it could get ridiculous really fast. Yeah,
I want a like super huge Wookiee deck that is super appealing to me.
Yeah, I agree with you. I want my Ewok deck first, but I think we're gonna get a Wookiee deck before we get Ewok. All right, JJ, what one do you want next?
so I'm gonna go into that Night Owl Skirmisher. So it's a 3-cost red and hero aspect here. It comes in with 4 attack, 3 shields, and then or 3 health, and then comes in with the Mandalorian Trooper keywords there, and it comes with Smuggle. Pretty good early unit there. I mean, 4 attack, 3 health makes this a really good candidate for like a good aggro deck, especially with the rad aspect on there. Definitely something to keep an eye out, especially with some of those red cards that boost those trooper keywords on there. This could be a really, really good unit to have in like a Sabine deck.
Traitorous stocks just went up. Oh, you're gonna say that
for sure.
You better play it early and don't use the smuggle, because you wait till you get to 5 resources to play that out and smuggle it. I'm just gonna take that stupid thing. Like, thank you. I'll take a 4/3 any day of the week.
Oh yeah,
I love Traitorous too much. Oh, my nephew hates me so much.
I mean, you should just hire better crew.
Yeah,
and we'll just betray them. You know, easy.
I know. Can you imagine?
Don't play anything 3 or less.
Wait till we get a Hondo card. Come on, I cannot wait. I hope we get a Hondo leader. Like, that would just be effing hilarious with Traitorous and all these other things. Oh my god, give me Hondo so much. I like the unit. I don't think there's a lot to say about it. It is a common, so I think it's going to be a good draft card. If you're running Red Hero, that's a good draft card. We also have a Mandalorian villain trooper called Death Watch Loyalist. JJ, you should be super excited about that. I mean, we might get a pre-Vizsla. This has grit. It's a 3-cost. It's a common. It's got grit, and it's got overwhelm. So, thank you. My Grand Inquisitor deck just got insanely better, right? Like, I could just drop this thing, re-ready it, and do like
hit for 5.
Yeah.
You know, with overwhelm.
Oh my gosh. I love this card. This is so far. I love the art on this card too. But I really, really, really love this card. I think this is for 3 costs. I think that stocks, in my opinion, stocks are very high for this card. So
yeah,
and especially at 3, right? Like, you're gonna take out other 2 and 3 costing cards, and generally they have like 2 attack, right, or whatever. So like, you just hit them, maybe do some overwhelm damage, and then now they're just swinging it for 5.
Mm-hmm. Here, Greedo. Let me kill you, Greedo, and do 2 extra damage to the base. Like, I mean, like, it's like I killed a unit and I did 2 damage to a base. And if I have no other units out, who are you going to do damage to with the Greedo discard? Oh, nobody. I love that card. I think that card's really good. All right, next one, Alex. Which one do you want?
Oh man, I got to take Ruthlessness. It is a 1-cost upgrade, red black, gives you +2/+0. The attached unit gains when this unit attacks and defeats a unit, deal 2 damage to the defending player's base. This is a great, like, I'm going to control the board with my units kind of card, and just start swinging and killing their units and still doing damage to their base. Pairs super well with anything that has overwhelm, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, the Death Watch Loyalist, now bumps it up to a 5. But, like, even if you just go, like, super high rolly, right? Oh, well, no, okay. Reasonable Clan Challengers, right? Now it's a 5/6 with Raid 3 and Overwhelm, which is terrifying.
Gosh.
Right? Because that's just swinging in for 8 for 6 resources total. But, like, super high rolly, you put it on, like, Palpatine unit and just starts hitting things for 8, you have 6 health, you have overwhelm. You know, it's you probably should be swinging at the base anyways, but anything that has overwhelm just hits super hard with this. I love this.
Yeah. I think it feels like this is silly at a 1 drop.
It is rare for what it's worth. It's definitely more of a late game card. And it doesn't give any health, which is very important. Just the 2 extra attack. Do I think it's like an A tier card? Probably not, but in the right kind of deck building, it'll be kind of awesome.
You know who likes this card?
Go on.
Those stupid stormtroopers, those 1 cost stormtroopers. You better kill my stormtrooper, baby, because hey, Sabine, don't go into the base. Kill this stormtrooper because I'm gonna put Ruthless on it, and it's gonna do 2 damage to your base. So I'm gonna be a mini Sabine. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, a turn 1 play, you could do like the stormtrooper ruthlessness.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's silly. JJ, you're next.
Oh, I think you have to live through it, though, right? Hold on. When they attack, yeah, you have to live through it. So probably not. Don't put down the stormtroopers.
When it attacks,
oh yeah, good point. Yeah,
you have to live through that for that to trigger.
I don't know. Why do you have to live through it? I guess.
So you can because you'll be simultaneously dead. It might work like that. I'm not exactly sure. I'll have to read up on the rulings for that kind of stuff. But it might play like in my head like Ezra, right, where you have to like when you finish completing an attack, it does specify when you complete the attack. So maybe not. It was just a thought randomly. Sorry, go on.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to choose Cripple Authority. So it's a 2-cost red and white aspect trick card. It reads, draw a card. Each opponent who controls more resources than you discards a card from their hand. It definitely feels like this should have been a yellow card or yellow aspect, but definitely really strong, right? Especially this can go in the deck that goes with record, right? You're defeating a resource there, so assuming you have more resources to play later on, you're able to take advantage of this particular card. Definitely much more powerful later in the game when your opponent has less options or less cards in their hand. You can really save yourself from a possible big piece coming in later on in the game. Don't know if this necessarily feels good early in the game, but could be really good, especially for decks that like to ramp and build up resources really fast. This definitely helps you control that aspect a little bit more because you're shortchanging them from having future options for them to play with the more resources that they play from their hand on there. Definitely a card that we're probably going to see some play, and I think it's pretty good. I like it.
You know who likes this card? This guy.
Yeah.
I like discarding cards from people's hand.
I mean, it is more hand destruction for red because they do have things like Smoke and Cinders, right, that no one ever plays, where they just dump down the 2 cards in their hand. But they do have also like Force Surrender, so you draw 2. If you damage your opponent's base, they discard 2. So it's more hand destruction, which is interesting. But like drawing 2 at the end of the turn really kind of curtails that a little.
Yeah.
But if they didn't hit like their resource leaders yet, or something like, or they're like running a control deck where they actually need their hand, that would be a lot better.
Yeah.
The next one is Koska Reeves, Mandalorian Trooper, 4 cost. This one is also a rare. It's a 4/5 Mandalorian Trooper, which I think I already said. And it says, on attack, if this unit is upgraded, you may deal 2 damage to a ground unit. For a 4 cost, I think this is okay. This is not bad. We don't know how good upgrades are going to be yet. So if upgrades are pretty cool, then and aren't going to be able to be defeated as easily, then stocks are up on this. If we can't keep this unit around because people just kill it, I don't know. I'm not super excited about it. I will say, again, it's still got 5 health at 4 costs, and that's pretty good. At a 4 cost, it's still pretty good. Once you're getting into there, it's almost like you have to have 2 units in there to take that 5 cost, unless you have a force choke. You use force choke, stupid thing, but it dies. But That's a villain thing. So
Just give her a shield and just go hard, right?
Yeah.
Or like an experience token. If you just give her an experience, now she's at 5/6 that does 2 damage every time she attacks.
Yeah, which that's pretty good. So
Yeah.
Again, it's a target that's forcing you to kill it. Is really what that's designed to do. Like either you kill this or I will kill you.
Medal ceremony is free.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and like the only if you think about it, the difference between this is more of like control-y specifically than aggro. So you can modify and be able to kill the other opponent's units before they can kill yours. So I'm gonna hate the stormtroopers are gonna hate this card.
Yeah. For sure.
Or anything with a shield where they just take the extra damage, then you can swing in.
Yeah. So that we have one more spoiler, and then we have some spoiler-ish type stuff. The last spoiler of the night is, I don't know, who wants first light? And make sure, like, we got a clarification on first light too. So whoever goes over it needs to go over the clarification too.
Okay. First
You
light.
do it. You do it.
It is a 7-cost 4/7 space unit. It's blue-black. It's rare. It has grit. And each other friendly non-leaner unit also gets grit, which is terrifying. And then you can smuggle it for 7 with the blue-black aspects. And then after you smuggle it, you deal 4 damage to a friendly unit, which cannot be first light itself because it is not in play yet in order to do the 4 damage to.
Hey.
But, I mean, it gives all your units grit. And it's got grit on a decent body. It seems pretty solid.
Yeah, I think this
Especially
is
for
a
being
great
phased.
card. I like this card a lot.
Yeah. It's really solid, especially as a space unit. It's less likely that you're going to have a lot of different vehicles that can go up and take this out really fast. So being able to have this out mid-game with a lot of units in the ground game definitely allows you to take advantage of that there. So yeah, just going to be really great, I think.
Now, isn't there a card we saw earlier that has enough health to absorb that 4 damage and gets grit on it as well? That could be out.
Mhm.
The heroic card that you're now paying 8 to play.
No. What about Clan Challenge? Is it Clan Challengers? No. There's another one that has grit.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Clan. I think you're thinking of the Covetous Rivals.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the 5/5 with grit. It is worth noting if you smuggle it, you do have to do the damage. It's not like a May, so it might backfire a little bit. But even then, like you're smuggling it in for the same cost as playing this unit, right? So you pretty much always want to resource it unless you just can't afford to deal 4 damage to your own guy.
Yeah.
So it's cool. I like it. It's a solid. Well, I didn't hit Avengers yet level of resources, so I'm gonna play this.
Yeah. I like it too. It just, I don't know. I mean, think about it in a blue-red deck too. Like I have Ruthless Raider that I have out, and I just did 4 damage to my Ruthless Raider, which then did 2 damage to another unit and 2 damage to a base. I don't know, like, and I didn't even have to hold this stupid card like I do Ruthless Raider sometimes, So, I don't know. I like it. All right, so the last spoiler piece, and it's not really that much, is so. By the way, we have Maul in the box. I'm just so excited for Maul. So. We have a Kylo and a Rey, like officially a Kylo and a Rey card sleeves now, too. So that's a thing. But the bigger thing, there is some leaders they spoiled without spoiling it, right? One of those leaders is a Lando Calrissian.
Donald Glover, Lando.
Yep. And it's, if you look at the top, that's a 4 cost, right?
Yeah.
That's a 4 cost Lando coming out. I don't know what he does, but he comes down on 4 resources.
Something with smuggle for sure.
Which is thematic, right? So
Yeah.
I'm not surprised we're getting him. We also have a second Boba Fett, and this Boba is also is now green instead of yellow, right? But it is also heroic, or a hero.
Yeah, it's heroic instead of villainous.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? So if you were worried that you had to play against a lot of boba, I'm here to tell you there's a high probability you might have to play against more boba. But I want to know why this one is a 6 cost and not a 5 cost, right? Because here's a 6 cost one that they're giving us in heroic. I don't know. So
knowing Boba Fett is probably like a 10-10.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's going to be like Old Man Boba.
That is Old Man. That's
sitting on the throne, right? They released the artwork for him sitting on there. That's interesting that he's heroic. I wonder what his ability could possibly be.
I don't know. Do you think we're gonna get a Cobb Vance? Then do we get a Cobb Vance?
Oh man, Cobb Vance, right? Yeah,
with our Boba.
Yeah,
FFC was like, here, let me give you the Boba Fett nobody liked. Like, let me give you that as a leader, fuckers. Now you're going to deal with that. All right. So the last piece I wanted to kind of cover is there was a couple of tournaments, and we're not going to spend a million hours again because I still think metas are fresh, right? And the reason we named the episode the reason we did is because an Iden Blue took down 2 events, 2 separate people took down 2 events in one weekend with Iden Blue. Pretty close, I believe, to similar decks. I could only get the deck list for one. I could not find the other deck list. Like, finding deck lists is super irritating in Swoop. Like, unless people like, there's so many discords that everybody's posting on it. But Iden Blue took down the 4K in the Richmond Open. There is also a Han Blue in the top 4. That seems pretty like we haven't seen a lot of Han Blue. So now my question to Alex is, how do I build a Han Blue deck that's super fun?
Han Blue is getting a little bit more traction.
Like, when are we going to get a Han Blue? And the next thing is when are we going to get a Blue Sabine? Like, do we get a Blue Sabine now too? Like, are we just going to have like Sabine's just going to run the whole bloody gambit? I don't know. That's an interesting discussion that we should. I wonder if we could build a Blue Sabine deck.
I mean, we can for next week.
All right, all right. Let's make that a goal commitment to build Blue Sabine for next week. I like it. Alex doesn't like it, but I'm going to make them do it anyway.
No, it's just going to be like,
I'm all for it.
Yeah, I like a challenge. Anyway, so we have we have 2 Han Blues actually, and then the Iden Blue, and so those were kind of like to me those kind of were like, hey, hold on a second, I couldn't get the Han Blue, otherwise we'd look at that. But here's the list for the Richmond Open. Let me make it a little bit bigger for y'all. Maybe. And they actually posted this links in one of the Discords. I don't remember what Discord I'm in that they posted the link to this picture. So here's the Iden Blue. So we have restock, 2 of 3 of the Infernos, 3 entrenched, 3 of my absolute favorite card that Alex, this took a 4K down. I have 3 Spark of the Rebellions, and baby, you're paying like double penalties on this. This is a 6 cost card. Like, I don't even
cost Spark of the Rebellion. I mean, like, it sort of makes sense because this is like straight pure control, like hard control. So like, it's nice to get out their biggest threat, but like, that's 6 cost. It's nice that Vigilance is 4, but like, okay. I mean, no one saw it coming, right? Like, you can't account for anything like that.
Nobody was like, "Hey, let's run this one card that is only like okay in some of these other decks, and let's just pay 3 times the amount for it."
Because there's nothing in blue villain that's gonna like rip a card out of your hand, right? So like, I'm sure it catches a lot of people by surprise, especially when you have like Viper Pro trades.
Could you imagine being that person there? That like you're sitting there, they're like, "Yep, I played Spark of Rebellion. Let me see your hand." You're like, "No." You're like, "Yeah."
I just get up and scoop and walk away.
All right,
like, no.
I'm next. Alex, when is your Store Showdown? I'm bringing this to your Store Showdown just so I could play you, just so you could scoop and we could get it like on camera.
Sometime in June, early June.
I'm telling you, like, I don't even know if this is like Iden Blue is like super amazing, but I love this edition. I just love it. Anyway, we have 3 Viper Probe Droids, 3 Death Troopers, 3
Power of the
Power
Dark
of the
Side.
Dark Sides. 3 I Am Your Father, which again I'm not super sold on that card either. 3 Child Sins. 3
Search Your Feelings.
Your Feelings. 3 Vigilances. 3 of the spacecrafts that are the Sentinel ones, which I like that. I like
Sentry
that
Patrol
card.
Crafts.
Yeah. Then we have 3 Takedown, 3 Vanquish, 3 of the Cargo Juggernauts, 3 Super Laser Blasts, and 3 Avenger. And the sideboard is 3 Devote. Is that Devotion? Does he have Devote? They have Devotion in that deck?
I mean, like
Okay.
it's I mean, you can run it, right? Like you got the double. I mean, you got the blue, right? So
Yep. Then they have 3 Make an Opening, 2 Dooku's, and 2 off-color Bounty Hunter crews, right? That's what that is?
Yeah.
Can you explain to me why that? I don't know why that's in there, I guess.
you can pull an event out of your discard.
Okay.
So
So I could get Spark
For
of
the
Rebellion
Rebellion.
back.
yeah, you can play Spark Rebellion 5 times for 30 resources.
Can you imagine seeing that like happening like in real time? You're like, there's no way he's gonna do that. Oh no, he's pulling it again. No.
You know that's me, right? That is 100%. I'm assuming it's meant to pull your Super Laser Blast out of the garbage. That's my assumption is what that is. No?
It's probably more for like vigilance.
Okay.
And more Power of the Dark Sides, right? Just destruction and the vigilance to heal 5 and defeat a unit 3 or less health. That is my assumption because they do cost 6. So
Yeah.
you probably didn't already play a Super Laser Blast.
Fair enough. No, they cost more than 6, right? That
Oh
would
yeah,
be
and
8.
well, in this deck would be 8. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're right. You probably have not played. Maybe it's just a FU card. Maybe they put an FU card in there just to fuck with people. Right?
Probably not. I mean,
I
they
don't
already
know.
did 3 copies of Spark of Rebellion.
Yeah,
I
but
think they
that's
already
an
got the
amazing
trolling
card.
down.
I'm telling you, that's an amazing card. Just wait till Villain gets that. I don't know. I like this. I like this. I like this deck. I feel like I want to build this deck and run it. Though I think the conversation around the 3 I Am Your Fathers might be a little bit different, but we should see. Anybody have any comments on this deck before we move on?
Bonkers.
Yeah, bonkers. Exactly.
Twice though. So if you thought your blue cards were going to cost a lot, go sell all your Super Laser. Alex, you should have held on to every one of those stupid things because they're going to be worth even more now.
Super Laser Blast out of 10 legendary, 6 of them are Super Laser Blast.
Well, they're worth
sucks.
money now, Alex. So you should have held.
Well, I have 1 hyperspace, 2 hollow.
Well, I have 2 hyperspace. I don't have a third one yet. So this one was also kind of interesting. This came from a 1K. This was a Boba Blue deck, and I've not seen anybody run Boba Blue before. Have you seen anyone run Boba Blue?
I actually have. A couple of my locals have tried it out before. And I can go through the deck real quick.
Sure. Yeah.
Sure. It's got triple Greedo, triple Mining Guild tie. Draw more cards if you have excess resources. 1 restock because it occurs itself, which is fun. Triple Inferno 4, triple Devotion, again giving people a double restore +1/+1. Triple Entrenched, always good. Very good if you don't run a lot of space units like this does. Triple No Good to Me Dead, triple Power of the Dark Side, double Make an Opening, triple 7th Fleet Defender, 1 Bodhi Rook with another one in the side. You got double Search Your Feelings, triple Vigilance, triple System Patrol Craft, triple Takedown, 1 Vanquish, triple Bosk, double Bounty Hunter Crew, triple Fire Spray, 1 Super Laser Blast, and 1 Avenger. In the sideboard, you have 1 Make an Opening to put that up to 3, 1 Bodhi, double Waylay, 1 more Vanquish, 1 more Bounty Hunter Crew, 2 more Super Laser Blast, just in case something goes catastrophic, and then 2 more Avengers. So it kind of transforms it to a late game control deck if need be.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand this deck, how to play this deck, I guess. I understand blue control, but it's weird seeing it in Boba this way, I guess.
It's just hard control, and yeah, I mean it's just hard control with like enough of like a mid range to kind of deal with some threats. I mean, you don't have a lot of board presence like in ground because you just have like Greedo.
Yeah.
So you really have to control the ground with those cards. Because like Bodhi's costing 5, Vigilance costing 6. So it's really tuned to we'll figure it out in the end game kind of thing. And the Search Your Feelings makes sense if you have like a one-off copy of Vanquish and a one-off copy of Super Laser Blast. Or restock, I guess, if you're really need that to bring back those cards into your deck.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand. I guess I would have to see somebody play this deck. I think it's neat that we're seeing new stuff still pop up, though, right? I mean, we're what? For everybody that said the meta is solved, we're 2 months in, and we're still seeing new stuff, pop up here. I don't know. I like it. I think it's kind of cool. Anyone have any other thoughts before we move on from that and kind of wrap up for the night?
I just want to shout out Ryan Staniszewski, one of the better players of X-Wing in our state, probably the best player of X-Wing in our state, honestly. He did win the tournament, the 20-person tournament out in Chesterfield by the good coast of Michigan. So
It's not, but yes, congratulations, Ryan. That was hilarious. Like, I didn't even know Ryan was going to that event, and then all of a sudden I saw him post that he took it down. I was like, oh, that's hilarious. I think he was running Green Sabine, right? I think he was.
I believe so. I don't know exactly his deck list. I haven't. It's been a very busy past couple days between Easter and driving 5 hours yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, I was super excited to share the Iden deck tonight, especially because it took a 4K down and it has cards in it that Alex told me are garbage. So I'm sorry, but that was I just couldn't help. I mean, it's about as good as when JJ had to wear a Lions hat for a whole NFL season because the Lions beat the Giants.
Yeah.
Anyway, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap up for the night. Thank you all for joining us. If you have not yet, please go ahead, follow us on our podcast catcher, whichever one you use. Like us on YouTube. And if you want to, you're welcome to join our Discord, do whatever you want to kind of keep up with the thing. We have been having fun playing this game more than I thought I would. And yeah. So, and thank you, FFG, for making 4 cost double aspect legendary cards that are super fun to chase right now, that are now all of a sudden becoming better than people thought they were going to be. They're fun to chase. Thank you. But either which way, we're going to sign off. We will be back next week. I guess we're going to do build Blue Sabine. I can see Alex building the deck in the background already.
Yeah.
I'm
let's build Blue
checking
Sabine.
the prices for Vigilance now, and man, they're $40 to $50 at least.
Yeah, I know. They remember when they were like 15.
Yeah, that's why I'm just like that. Nothing has hit as much crazy growth, like exponential growth, as Vigilance has.
Yep. And Vigilance, those stupid Avengers, and that stupid Laser Blast. Just like
I traded Super Laser Blast for a Vigilance.
Hey, you made out, baby.
I had so much foresight.
Oh, fair enough. So
That's great.
Anyway, thank you all for joining us. We'll be back next week covering more Star Wars Unlimited. We are Planning Phase Syndicate. Thank you. Have a good night, and we'll see you on the flippity flop.
Have a good night, everybody.
Thanks for listening.